I tried beating Super Mario Odyssey without taking any damage. I couldn't do it. So instead, I made a rule that every time I take damage, I have to disable one button on my controller, limiting my movement options much more. And hopefully, we don't softlock ourselves. Anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into this. Okay, let's get this thing started. By the way, one thing I should mention is that I also disabled some buttons already that I don't think we're going to be using that much. So this is what the controller looks like now. You know, one thing I did consider is making this a run of if I bonk or take damage, I lose a button, but I decided against that just because there really aren't that many buttons to play with in the first place. And honestly, I'm glad I made that decision because left side would have been devastating. Thankfully though, the only place to take damage here was really on Topper, so I made sure to get through him nice and quickly. Now I should also mention that I was looking at this as a speed run, so I was kind of trying to go as fast as possible, but that would be kind of risky at some points. And a perfect example is the Madame Brood boss fight. I did try to do the fast strats here, which definitely could have cost me, but it didn't. I saved some time and got through this without any damage. And after a cool chest clip, it was off to Sand Kingdom. Now there wasn't too much that I was worried about here, mainly because the main area is so open without any enemies around. So as long as I don't roll into a cactus, we should be all good. Although I spotted more enemies once I made it to the ruins. But after that, all I had to worry about was the bullet bills up top. Sadly, Cappy did not do an up throw like I wanted, so Dram Strat didn't happen, but I also didn't get hit. Then I did another risky jump, which was to get on top of the Jaxie ruins. And with that done, everything else here was a breeze. Now, in Lake Kingdom, I was definitely worried about doing the Rango fight at the end. So after rolling around these Goombas, I tried doing a late clip to see if I could skip the boss, but that went about as well as you'd expect. So I did the normal route and made it up to the boss, where again, I tried doing the fast strats. Whoa, okay, whoa. No. Yeah, good. Now, do this. And then we do this again. Oh, that was too early for a second. Yeah, a little wonky, but we were still fine. 4 kingdoms had now been done without any buttons lost, and now it was time for Wooded. This was definitely going to be more difficult because there are a lot of points here that could screw me up, but maybe doing nut clips successfully could eliminate some of those dangers. This time, I got it, and that was 2 moons that could be used to eliminate some dangerous areas later. Moving on, the uproots and the piranha plants were a little bit scary in this area, but I got past those, and maybe I got a little too overconfident here, but I decided to go for Flower Road skip, and surprisingly, got that as well. Now, once I made it through the tower, I had 3 moons left, and I had 2 options. Either I could fight the boss, or I could jump down and go to Flooded Pipeways, and I thought the safer option was to fight Spewer. Again, maybe I was a little too confident and tried to jump on him as quick as possible, but I still got all 3 hits and didn't get hit by him or the poison. It was kind of insane that I'd made it this far damageless, but also these were the easy kingdoms. We were still just getting started. Cloud Kingdom had the first Bowser fight, and I definitely could have and probably should have taken damage from doing these fast strats, but the practice paid off for phases 1 and 2. In phase 3, I had to go a little slower because taking damage is required to do it as fast as possible. Lost Kingdom, even though it's surrounded by death, really didn't have any issues. Yeah, I actually had pretty tight movement at the start and changed the route a little bit at the end to be safer. So once again, 10 moons collected and no buttons lost. But then it was time for Metro, which does have a lot of danger in it. There are quite a few jumps where you could fall to your death, fly enemies that'll zoom right at you, and of course the Mecha Wiggler boss fight, where the first phase went pretty well, but the second phase not so much. No! Okay, yeah, see, I knew that that would be a difficult part right there. So looks like we have to disable a button now. So yeah, we had our first hit of damage, and I had to decide which button to get rid of. I thought that since there were duplicates of each shoulder buttons, I could just get rid of one of them. Also, L and R just center your camera, which I thought I don't use them that much, so I'll just get rid of L. Now this is what the controller looked like. After that, the boss was finished up without any more casualties, and Day Metro appeared, which means all the enemies were gone. But then while collecting the rest of the moons, I tried to dive out of this dumpster and realized something. I was trying to press an L to center the camera, but that didn't work because I just turned it off. That's when I realized I might have screwed up. See, I was thinking that I'm a righty, so I would press the R button more often. But no, apparently L is my go-to button in that case. And I use it more often than I thought I did, so it would be kind of a challenge adjusting from here on out. This challenge of adjusting also carried into Snow Kingdom, but thankfully I didn't need to use it in the 2 switch rooms that I went into, because that's where all the damage lies. But those rooms were cleared surprisingly easily, and finished off the kingdom with a first try snow dram. Actually, that's a lie. I failed it 3 times. But then going to Seaside, really the only danger was these seaweed enemies, and I was shocked that I did not take damage here, but I got through it and did a nice and safe fish clip. Next, there was Luncheon, which again was filled with danger. The first notable point being the Spewer fight. Now, I had done this fight before without an issue. Could I do it again? What the heck was that dive input? Sadly, no, and it was time to disable something else. But at this point, I knew I wouldn't have to be warping anywhere, so I got rid of minus, and almost everything on the left side was gone. But still, my movement wasn't too limited yet. Although, I got a lot more nervous here, and my gameplay showed it. Going over the lava and capturing these Pambros used to get me a lot of trouble, but I would not take another mistake here. Again, there were some more nerve-wracking points here, but I managed to survive, and grab the multi-moon so we had enough to leave. Now there was the Ruined Dragon, which was pretty easy in some ways, but has still ended a lot of damageless runs. Once again, the fast strats were not an option, so I had to actually dodge all the attacks, which at one point just became a bit too much for me. Oh no, I ran right into it because I got like way too ahead of myself and just moved like way too quickly there. And I knew it was time to get rid of one of the main buttons, and that was X. So it can be useful, but it is also a duplicate of Y, so I felt like I could do without it. Then after the dragon, we just had 2 kingdoms to go. For Bowser's, I was playing things pretty safely, and that seemed to work pretty well. There weren't really any issues for the first half, except for when the L button almost cost me again on these spinies. Still, I pushed through, beat Harriet and Topper, and I was still fine. Now it was time for the real test, the last 3 moons that I needed, all the way at the top at the Mecha Brutal fight. This is where I was hoping all of my practice would pay off. All right, time for Mecha Brutal and for Birdless. Let's hope this goes well. Wow, that was weird, but we got up. Okay, good. We're still on Topper. Oh, wait, no. I was pressing L there for a second, like I forgot. Gotta press R. Gotta press R to center it. Get in position for Rango. Nice. One more. Come on, don't fall. Don't fall now. Let's go. Let's freaking go. And it did. Bowser's was complete, and we were going into Moon with plenty of hits to spare, but I was not getting excited yet. This was still the final boss fight, so of course there would be a lot of places to take damage here. I will admit, the Bowser fight did take a little bit longer because I couldn't do the fast strats, and moving quickly just felt really dangerous. But the first and second hits went really well, but on the third phase, I didn't get to Bowser before he jumped away, so I did have to dodge the fire and the golden balls being thrown. Thankfully, I got around to all of it, jumped over the tail swipes, and the fight was done. Now, all that was left was the escape sequence. Thankfully, I got 2D skip and watched for the falling rocks to make it to the last room. This was it. Okay. I could snipe that. That would be... Okay, I think I missed it. That's fine. I can go around again. Ah! Alright, come on. Come on, make it, make it. Right in the corner, right in the corner. There we go. There we go, come on. Let's do this. Don't hit me, don't hit me. There we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. It has been done, everyone. There you go. The run had been completed with just 3 hits of damage. I still had half this controller up and running. Hopefully you all enjoyed this challenge idea. This was super fun and intense to get through. And hopefully now I don't have to worry about any buttons missing. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Together, the fireworks are gonna start.